it was a simple Facebook post on our neighborhood association page to say, I'm interested in meeting some neighbors. Anybody want to grab a drink at a local watering hole? And about 18 people showed up in a massive
That's
snowstorm.
amazing. That's amazing. Like that, honestly, that 18 people off of like a post.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so that was back in January 2017. And we went over to St. Louis Bar and Grill, and we just, shook some hands, had a drink, and got to know each other. No suit and ties, just very neighborly in focus.
Welcome to Powered by People. I'm Wendy Pauls, and this show is all about getting to know the people behind the businesses and initiatives that shape our communities. Today, I'm joined by Jason Kipfer, someone who truly embodies what it means to be powered by people. Jason has built a career in airport planning, economic development, and strategic positioning. But what actually stands out is his passion for leadership, connecting people, and making an impact. He's the founder of Locally Connected, a grassroots initiative that brings communities together in a way that's welcoming, inclusive, and built on genuine relationships. He's got a natural gift for bringing people together. And if you've ever wondered how to create meaningful connections in business and life, you're going to love this episode. Let's get into it. I like going, right back. I like to know, where did you grow up? And tell me about some of your interests and passions when you were a young boy.
Okay. I'll give you the quick Coles notes. So born in Niagara Falls, moved to Moncton, New Brunswick, lived in Aurora, then Newmarket, Montreal, and Kitchener-Waterloo probably a half a dozen times. And it was just a matter of not being expelled from schools. But my dad was in a role with his company, which had him moving around a lot across the country. So it was a great experience. I have a younger brother who was born in Moncton. And so it's just a small family, the four of us, no aunts or uncles, no cousins.
Okay. So, moving around a lot, it sounds like you perceive it as a positive experience. Was it challenging? Like you were switching schools and making new friends?
I think in hindsight, it probably helped to define who I am today. Certainly leaving friends and having to make new friends and being, a little bit out on my own in a school, in an unfamiliar school setting, you learn to adapt quickly and maybe develop some techniques, including humor, to make friends and to fit in a little bit more easily. But I think it probably has led to me becoming probably a true extrovert in my day to day, and contributed to some of the success and the reason for doing what I'm doing for what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to get to that. And the people that I met, a few people at the event the other night, and everybody's like, "Oh, I've known Jason since." "Oh, I've known Jason," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you are a natural networker, and you really connect with people." So perhaps it did come from some of your early days in having to learn to make new friends.
I think it did. And it's a small community. I moved here in grade 5, and having completed my school's studies at Franklin to Sunnyside to Eastwood and Laurier, where I met my wife, and having almost all of the jobs that I've held since university in the community as well, you get to know people. And some of the interesting jobs that I've held over the years, I've worked at Laurier, worked for TD Corporate and as a community small business advisor for TD. So you get to know a lot of people in a business capacity that way. Also got an opportunity to promote investment and bilateral trade in the region of Waterloo on the international stage, and had a chance to travel the world through my time with Canada's Technology Triangle, which is now the Waterloo Active Corporation, and really got to know the unique gems that existed and unicorns that exist locally in the community, and help them grow abroad, and as well help bring investment into the community. And so that transitioned nicely into where I am today as overseeing a small, I'll say, boutique research and consulting firm specializing in economic development, strategic planning, and airport planning and development. And we work with small towns, small airports, mid-sized airports, and mid-sized communities across Canada, and then a little bit in the U.S.
What does that involve? Like, so, I can't even imagine. And we don't typically bump into people that are part of, airport planning.
Yeah. So I'm not an engineer by trade or a planner, However, when it comes to strategic planning and thinking about revenue generation opportunities, thinking about airports as gateways for tourism development into their respective communities, airports have oodles of land available for development. And as communities continue to run out of employment lands, they often look at airports to think about what kind of aviation and non-aviation opportunities exist at that airport. We help airports develop new air service routes and do business cases to help attract new air carriers, regional and international, to airports across Canada. And we've had some successful examples throughout the northern parts of our province as well, too. And on the economic development side, we think about economic development from a municipal's perspective to support the businesses that are in their community, to help them grow and expand. We also want to help communities come up with strategies to attract business investment and businesses that lead to job creation in their communities. We think about tourism as it relates and supports economic development, workforce attraction and retention, housing development. We look at the key economic drivers within communities and try and help communities define themselves so they don't try and position themselves as being the best of everything, but being very good at 4 or 5 particular industries and helping to build out a culture and an ecosystem that further flourishes and strengthens and defines their communities based on what they have to offer. And our community here has no shortage of great economic drivers that really define us. And the tech has certainly taken us from good to great over the years. And technology, as always, I've seen as an enabler to support the growth and development of so many other industries and businesses in our community.
So if we were trying to connect the dots between that young boy and what you're doing now, where could we find some threads, some commonalities?
You know what? I was organizing a school event at my local elementary school back in 2017, and I was connecting grade 8 students with industry professionals and business leaders just to kind of support and encourage that mentor-mentee type of dialogue and relationship. And in the process, I had to say a few words about introducing myself and thinking back about where I was and what I was doing in probably grades 6, 7, and 8, and so forth. And I was one of many who had a paper route for the KW record back in the day. And I bought it off my neighbor for $50 at the time, and it had 50 customers, and I grew it to 125 customers. And in the process, when I think back about all the things that I learned delivering newspapers, you're dealing with onboarding new clients, business development. You're thinking about retaining your customers. You're thinking about collecting monthly payments. When it wasn't automated, you had to go out there with a little receipt in hand. Thinking about delivering a quality product, rain or shine. Thinking about my time. I don't want to spend 3 hours delivering 125 newspapers. I want to get it done as quick as possible and move on to the rest of my evening. That's right. So a lot of the things that I underwent and experienced as a paper route boy or newspaper boy, you know, I've been able to draw linkages to a lot of the things that I do every day in my job today and that I've done for many years for now.
Oh, that's just great to hear, because sometimes some of the things we do early on, they feel like a one-off, but if we really look. So from that point then, can you see kind of, okay, I went from here to here to here to here to get where you are now? Or does it feel more like, you know, kind of zigzaggy, you tried some things? I mean, there's always value if you extract learning from every experience, but how does it feel to you, your journey?
I'll answer the question by saying that school event that I started in 2017 is now branded and called Career Insights from Industry Professionals. And it was simply 15 grade 8s and 15 business professionals. Now it's over 200 grade 7 and 8 students and over 40 to 50 industry professionals coming in for offering and participating in a half-day forum. And the objective has always been to remind students that there is no direct line from high school to where they are today. And as you said, it very much is a zigzag pattern, trying when opportunities come up, life often either pushes you or pulls you into new opportunities. And a lot of what I've done over the years, from having worked at Laurier, TD Bank, doing global investment attraction, traveling the world, something I never would have thought of back in the day. And now I'm working with airports and airport managers. I'm working with mayors and CAOs and counselors of communities, big and small, across Canada. And it's really exciting to hear their stories and to understand that and realize that individual communities are not alone. A lot of them are dealing with the same types of challenges related to workforce development, talent attraction, businesses, dealing with issues on how much do we increase taxes to pay for the services that as residents in our community that we want, we desire, we need in life. So back to where is the common thread? The common thread for me, I think, is putting myself in positions that involve not just sitting behind a desk, but being out and about and part of my community and talking to people, because a key component of the success of the work that we do today is really around community engagement. Face-to-face one-on-ones, focus groups, community-wide surveys, anything and everything, even spending a couple of days in the community and talking to the gas bar attendant, to the hotel greeter, to anybody that is part of the community. Everybody has something to say that can be constructive to support the work that we do. So being comfortable in front of large and small audiences. I was very, very shy growing up. I remember delivering a presentation to my school in grade 5, standing in the principal's office with my friend, holding a little script in front of me, and I was shaking like crazy. And I was so nervous, knowing that so many people that I couldn't see were listening to me and potentially judging me and that sort of thing. And I've tried to put myself in positions to overcome that, way back. And certainly there are times where I do feel like a fish out of water. It's not very often anymore, but certainly having the confidence in myself to be able to put a good face forward and be professional, be casual, fit into the setting in which you're jumping into.
One of the things that I'm already picking up about you in our brief time knowing each other is that you are a doer. You get things done. You identify opportunities and act on them and make them happen. Is this fair so far? Are you resonating with this?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay. So how do you decide which things to do, which things to act on, like which opportunities? Because I imagine that you see opportunities all over the place.
Talking to people, you get a lot of intel. I get a lot of intel from individuals who come out to our community meetups. A lot of our work involves responding to government tenders and through the procurement process. So it's a fairly complex sales process, if you will, kind of a one-sided. Most of us, as I know you, we're more in relationship sales and getting to know the client first, understand the client's needs and wants and desires and expectations. And most of my work is reviewing a 30-page wish list of what we want this project to look like and how we want it to undergo throughout the duration of the project, and putting together a proposed methodology that's going to meet that outcome without necessarily having the opportunity for a virtual engagement, a one-on-one, just a telephone call. There is a process to ask questions, but it's through an email platform, and it's not the way that we would typically do business development, in my opinion.
It also sounds like you do between your day job and all of the other things that you're involved in. You've got a lot of different things that you oversee, take care of a lot of tasks. If you had to choose a favorite activity, task, something that gets your time and attention, and you were going to do that thing for most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, what would you pick? What would that be?
Going to get in a lot of trouble answering this question, I think. But
whoops. Well, then we'll edit this one out. Or no, if there's certain people that should turn this off now.
No, it's all good. There's think about when one of the models that we'll talk about with the locally connected community hub is focusing on that live, work, play, shop premise, and certainly all of those play into my life on a daily basis. I love spending time with my family. We were at a remote off-the-grid cabin in that winter storm on the long weekend in Eastern Ontario, traveling in on snowmobiles and side-by-sides with tracks, and completely off the grid for a few days with my wife's family. So doing stuff like that and adventures, even just day adventures, those are all fantastic.
Mm.
The job, not only does it pay the bills, but it helps with my professional development and growth, and
Mm-hmm.
learning and trying new things, and putting my problem solving skills to good use for
Mm-hmm.
communities locally and abroad as well too. Volunteering has always been something that I enjoyed doing and have found different ways. Volunteering is a unique way to allow people to express themselves differently for things that are
Mm-hmm.
important to them.
Yeah.
And when I worked for the Greater KW Chamber of Commerce and ran events, I used to oversee and support over 300 volunteers with the help of my team.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can inspire people to help to have them achieve your agenda and feel that they're getting purpose and delivering value at the same time without compensating them financially, you can do great things with volunteers. And I've been, I've been a volunteer for many different initiatives in my community. And now having an opportunity to work with 20 plus volunteers on the locally connected community hub, we're achieving great things. We're moving very quickly. We have people coming from so many different backgrounds and experiences and different ages of their life, and we're inspired by each other, and we're putting the time in because there's a sense of desire, the sense of want to be able to achieve something great and be part of something great at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that to answer your question, I think the volunteer piece is probably the most enjoyable because I'm in the driver's seat in the volunteer
Mm-hmm.
role that I'm currently in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm surrounded and inspired by great people who um, support the initiative, support the importance of what we're doing and working towards. And when you surround yourself with great people, Wendy, you can achieve anything in life. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
again, we're all benefiting different ways from volunteering our time, and again, it's a shared experience all throughout the Tri-Cities and beyond.
Mm-hmm. How are you benefiting from it?
Will go back to that public speaking piece.
Huh?
That's
Mm-hmm.
an important piece, just to be in front of 50 to 150 people every month,
Yeah.
just giving little updates, delivering. I would say I enjoy doing something that delivers value to the people around me and supporting something that's important to me, which is community development. Also, I've got two children who are teenagers, and I think it's important that youth today get involved and have a level of comfort being in a, I'm not going to say an uncomfortable setting, but a setting with adults where at some point in their careers, they're going to have to be able to speak to adults, look them in the eyes. And I know COVID created a lot of challenges for people of
Mm-hmm.
all ages.
Yeah.
And our initiative is not just for business owners and entrepreneurs. We have retirees, we have young professionals, college, high school students coming out, stay-at-home parents, 9-to-5ers like myself, or 9-to-5ers with a side hustle that they want to just have some practice. Again, a lot of people have taken months to come out to their very first meetup, and the first thing they say to me after they've attended a meetup is, "Boy, I should have started coming 6 months ago." This was just
Mm-hmm.
a great, welcoming, casual, relaxed setting
Mm-hmm.
and experience. And a lot of people have developed a lot of great friendships because of making the personal connections one at a time at
Mm-hmm.
our meetups.
Yeah. Take a few minutes to kind of explain what it is, how it works, what your idea was in getting it started for people who don't know kind of what we're
Sure.
talking about.
Yeah. So I live in
Mm-hmm.
Eastbridge, which is up in Northeast Waterloo, kind of the Bridge and Northfield neighborhood. And 8 years ago, it was a simple Facebook post on our neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
association page to say, "I'm interested in meeting some neighbors. Anybody want to grab a
Mm-hmm.
drink at a local watering hole?" And
Mm-hmm.
about 18 people showed up in a massive
That's
snowstorm.
amazing. That's amazing. Like that, honestly, that 18 people off of like a post. Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and so
Uh-huh.
that was back in January of 2017, and we
Okay.
went over to St. Louis Bar and Grill, and
Yeah.
we just shook some hands, had a drink, and got to know each other. No suit and ties, just very neighborly in
Mm-hmm.
focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the group if they'd be interested in doing this periodically throughout the year, and they all kind of said, "Hey, if you want to book a date and a time, we'll come and have a drink with you from now and again."
Yeah.
And so it wasn't long before people started hearing about this, and we ended up probably by the third month wrapping a little name around it and called it the Eastbridge Business Connections to stimulate that kind of conversation. And many of us again work for ourselves or work for an employer, and it's nice to know what people do for a living. I mean, we do it when we go to family picnics, and we do it on
Sure.
the school tarmac with other
Mm-hmm.
parents and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
let's do it in a casual setting. So it wasn't long before people outside of what I'll say the Eastbridge neighborhood, people started reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I used to live in the neighborhood. My friends live in the neighborhood. I hear you guys are getting together. Can I join?" So I just started saying yes to everybody.
Wow.
And
Mm-hmm.
fast forward 8 years later, we're now, I would say, considered the largest and fastest growing community-based networking collective in the Tri-Cities region and Stratford area. We have 3 neighborhood and 4 municipal chapters. The 3 neighborhood chapters are Eastbridge, Lakeshore, and Westmount. We've also expanded to Woolwich, which includes the Elmira, St. Jacobs, Conestoga, and Breslau area. We have a Guelph chapter, a Cambridge chapter, as well as a Stratford area chapter. So it's and there's interest to kind of again build beyond that or expand beyond that. I'm only one person, but again, each chapter has its own committee, which without I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we have people coming. I mean, our Eastbridge chapter, which meets monthly, the last Monday of the month. Everybody else is kind of quarterly. We don't want to cannibalize ourselves against each other. So
Mm-hmm.
we do encourage that kind of cross-pollination where people, if they want to come to another chapter, they're more than welcome to. But we have people coming from as far as Mississauga to the east, Woodstock to the west, even up to Orangeville and Hanover. And some of these people work in our community. Others will come down because their friends are going and they would like to participate as well too. And it's there really is no agenda other than some brief remarks at 8 o'clock. The meetups
Mm-hmm.
run from 7 to 9. If the venue's open later, we don't push anybody out at 9 o'clock. And as you saw earlier this week, it's just an opportunity to welcome people. You were one of a half a dozen people that were, I'll say, first timers for the meetup, which was fantastic. It's nice to introduce the host. I'm finding that many people, we're so busy and we don't have a chance to check out all the unique shops and restaurants in our
Mm-hmm.
neighborhoods. So I'm hoping that somehow this would be a bit of a hook to get people to kind of make some time to come out and meet with the owner. It's so nice to go into a restaurant or a business and for me to be acknowledged by the staff or the owner of the business.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it also, for their purposes, it helps with client retention. I have a
Mm-hmm.
personal connection with their business, whether it's a product or a service. Maybe it's an in and out, or I'm there for a little bit doing my grocery shopping for an hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed, and I do joke that the best networking I do is usually at the grocery stores on a Sunday morning sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But again, just bumping into people, it leads to a greater sense of community, and having a sense of community is important to me. We have a family dog, and as well, you get to know all the dogs in your neighborhood. You unfortunately forget most of the dog owners' names, but you certainly know all the dogs. And
Mm-hmm.
there's great little ways to be part of your community, even just acknowledging someone when you walk past them on the sidewalk, as opposed to looking at your phone or the sidewalk itself.
Mm. What needs do you think these groups are meeting for people? Because when you're talking about people coming from as far as Mississauga to come in, obviously it's meeting needs.
Yeah,
So
it is.
what are they?
And I think first and foremost, you do see, I mean, we get a lot of extroverts and introverts. That aside,
Mm-hmm.
what people are looking for, most of us that are there do have some type of a business hat on of sorts. We're,
Mm-hmm.
again, representing our own individual companies or that
Mm-hmm.
of somebody else. So, um, educating people about the products and services that we offer. But what's really important, again, what kind of differentiates us is that there's no suit and ties. You don't have to worry about being stuck in the corner, talking to someone for a half an hour. It's very much about, Wendy, how can I help your business first? Tell me about your business, and then we can talk about my business. There really is no one-sided, one-way directional conversation. And you know what? If I'm not buying today, maybe I know somebody else who is, or I may be
Mm-hmm.
buying at a later date. So having a point of contact to help me
Mm-hmm.
address an issue I may have now or in the future is important. What I've really noticed coming out of the pandemic is that people are really I won't say everybody, but there's a growing number of people who are looking for that sense of belonging and being able to participate in something that is informal, that's casual, that's welcoming, that's accepting, regardless of everything that we think about that discriminates or isolates individuals. It's really a collective of everybody. And many of us, as you know, have moved to a work from home environment. I've been working from home for years, so I'm used to that. But I tell you, when I go out to a meetup, I'm hungry to shake hands and meet people and see people and talk to people in person.
Yeah.
I mean, as great as this is to chat with you over a virtual call, it was really nice to shake your hand and get to
I
know
agree.
you in person.
I agree.
So you can't
Yes.
replace that with
Yes.
technology.
Definitely not.
Students, college, university, high school students who are coming out, for them, I know a lot of them are nervous as heck. They want a little bit of practice and get that level of comfort speaking to people on the fly. And also many of them are certainly, prospecting for job opportunities in the summer and that sort of thing. There's no sales that take place at these meetups. We do not want people to close deals. We want people to develop relationships and then continue those conversations afterwards. And for others, including stay-at-home parents, just having some adult conversation sometimes is nice. And also coming out to a particular venue that maybe they haven't been out to, they want to try some of the food. We do encourage for the places that are restaurants and have a bar area to kind of come for dinner and stay for the networking afterwards. So it's not just a in and out quickly and have a pop or a other type of beverage of sorts. There are a growing number of people that have developed those friendships and are coming for dinner beforehand, an hour before, and then they will stay for 2 or more hours networking. And just it's almost like going down the street and having a neighborly barbecue, and all the neighbors get together, and you're still asking how everyone's business is doing, travel, kids, all the same things that we talk about at our meetups. But it's a safe place that people can test out. I'm not going to say sales strategies, but again, practice talking about the things that they represent and have some informal conversations as well in the process.
Yeah, I love the way you explain it. I think it's great to differentiate that it isn't just, people going there and here's my business card, here's your business card. There is definitely this relationship component, the belonging, the connecting with other humans. And I think that's apparent by the number of people that have been coming for years, right? And they come with regularity, like come to lots of the gatherings and keep doing so. So that's really a testament. I think things are always from leadership down. So well done on creating that environment for people.
Well, I appreciate
it's obviously meeting a need and scratching an itch.
It is, and you talk about leadership from the top down. I look at it. If no one showed up, I wouldn't be doing this, and so it's kind of a two-way. We have attendees, we have volunteers, and then myself trying to think about how we want to grow this and where we want to go, and we have over 2,000 people involved. We have, as you said, a lot of people that come out to more than one meetup, which is great. And living in a community like Waterloo Region, there's so many great things to do every day in this community with your kids, with your friends, with your coworkers, and we're competing for bums and seats just like everybody else. And we don't look at that as a negative. But when people do have the time to carve out 2 hours on a Monday night to come out, they really enjoy coming out, and they look forward to shaking as many hands as possible and catching up with, friends and colleagues and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. How did you get the different volunteers to get involved to help support you in the different groups? How did that come about?
It started out as one individual, Brad out in Lakeshore, who has started attending our Eastbridge meetups and saying, hey, you know what, we've got a great neighborhood across town. Maybe we should start up something like this, being neighborhood focused. And so I said, hey, this is a great idea. Let's kind of roll with that and, flesh out what we want to do. And, talk about what kind of venues do you have that could hold a stand-up, mix and mingle kind of group, from anywhere from 10 to 30 people. These things don't just all of a sudden grow into 50 people on your first meetup. But the new chapters that we are starting off much stronger than the ones that started, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so we've grown as a result of people who've been coming to our meetups for 6 months to 12 months and saying, this is fun, it's valuable, and my community needs this. And we're not trying to replace neighborhood associations or other business organizations or networking groups. All of them have their own purpose, their own value proposition. Many of the people that are involved in our group are involved with many of these other business groups, and it's great. We are just a grassroots initiative. I'm in the process of trying to register this as perhaps a nonprofit and look at a business case to support that, but we don't generate any revenue. We don't charge for people to attend these meetups, and we don't want what we're doing to have any roadblocks for people that just say, you know what, I can't afford a registration fee or that sort of thing. We want to make it inclusive to everybody. Our goal is to contribute making the communities that we serve to become more inclusive, safe, and welcoming places to live, work, play, and shop. And I think the shop piece has all, and we've been saying the shop piece since 2017, not just sign of the times, let's, shop
not
local
just right
and
now.
buy Canadian,
Yeah.
but we've been saying it for many, many years. And one of the things that I've noticed in our neighborhood, and I think the people I've spoken to about it can relate as well, we as residents of our neighborhoods enjoy having those boutique shops and restaurants in our backyards. However, the irony is that when they close their doors, we cry the blues. But the reality is that we drive by their shops 4 or 5 times a day, taking our kids to school, going to work, going to the gas station, groceries, this, that, and the other, without batting an eye. And these are the businesses that support our kids' sports teams, that hire our kids to work at their places of business. They procure as much as they can. They're real, community advocates and support local communities. And that's why it was important to add that shop component, because every community wants to be a great place to live, work, and play. But we also need to make sure that we are talking about recognizing the businesses in our backyards, because I think you'd probably agree with me when I say that, the bulk of the Canadian economy is built on the backs of small businesses. And so we need to make sure that we take care of them. I know it's difficult. It has been difficult. And it took businesses a long time to come out of the pandemic, more so than just families as on an individual level. But and not long after the pandemic, I started seeing people going back to those shops, asking for financial support and door prizes, because they've done such a great job doing that before the pandemic. The unfortunate part is that many of those businesses were not getting the love during the pandemic, and now all of a sudden they've been asked to, and they will support. Again, it's part of their DNA. They will support the community, but it takes the community to support them as well when times are good and when times are not good.
Is there a story that stands out, a person or a business or something that has been positively impacted from the community meetups?
Again, we're just a little group that brings in a group of people once a month. And for Eastbridge, we have 12 meetups a year. That means 12 different venues. So we're going out to and returning to those that have supported us once a year. And we do ask them to come out to the other meetups as well. I know they're busy as well. We have lost a handful of businesses as a result of the pandemic, which was unfortunate. And it's an unfortunate reality that all communities have been dealing with. I would say, so yeah, I have a story for you. So you probably know Classic Indian Restaurant, which was at Northfield and Whistler, is now across from the Home Depot and Staples there. And they've been hosting us for almost 8 years. They have been one of our more than 50 what I call annual Meetup door prize sponsors. They support the Eastbridge chapter with a $25 gift card every month. So come for your chance to win one of those next month.
Yeah, that's worth showing up for. I love that.
And so we have continued to go to enjoy and appreciate going back to them. And they submitted an application for the Made in Ontario Awards for 2024. And so I had provided a letter of support for the great things that they have done to support us, and being a community advocate and being a great restaurant and good corporate citizenship and all of that good stuff. And they ended up becoming a winner in one of the categories of the Made in Ontario award. So that has really helped them a lot.
Yeah.
This year is a big year for them. They're celebrating, I believe, 25 years of serving the community, great Indian cuisine. And
Mm-hmm.
they're in their new location now. They have a fantastic production line of their famous soups as well too. And
Mm.
if you
Mm-hmm.
haven't been to their new place yet, I
I
would definitely
haven't.
encourage you
Yeah.
to check it out. It's very
Yeah.
colorful. It's
Mm.
just a good welcoming place, and they have that little outdoor patio kind of on the boulevard, grassy area, which allows
Mm-hmm.
for some additional dining experience in the good weather and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But I would say that they've been big fans of ours. We've been big fans of them. We helped them with their application process. They, carried their own weight and
Mm.
won that Ontario Made Award themselves. But I think that would be a good example to share with you.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love a good feel good story. Uh, let's see. Okay, yes. For you, how do you balance your, corporate work and these community driven initiatives? Getting away to a cottage and so on. How do you balance all these things?
Like many of us, we only sleep a few hours a night, I think. But I will say I usually get close to 8 hours a night, which is great. But you find time to squeeze things in whenever you can, even if it's
Mm,
just 10 or 15 minutes. I feel that when you are as involved in something as I am with the local hub, that
mm-hmm,
you don't need to spend 15 minutes getting your brain up to speed of what I need to do in the next 15 minutes. I can just sit down and start doing. So as I'm driving around
mm-hmm,
town, going grocery shopping, I'm thinking about things. I'm taking little notes to myself on my cell phone of things that I want to do. I have a great team at my side that I can bounce ideas off. I have
mm-hmm.
messenger groups for each chapter. We just recently brought on somebody from Stratford to help us with our marketing, communication, social media, and she's been a fantastic addition. So,
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm not bugging her too much, but she's just so good at what she's doing. It's easy. It's hard not to want to just share so many ideas with her. But
Yeah.
again, balancing everything. As you know, when you're in the corporate world, you have your goals and your task. At the end of the day, most people don't necessarily care how you get there, other than that you
Mm-hmm.
got there and you got it
Yeah.
done on time
Yeah.
and on budget. So you work hard, you play hard. My youngest daughter had her championship basketball game last night at Forest Heights. Unfortunately, they lost, but we're doing our best to keep up with the sporting activities.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's very busy as a facilities manager for Mile Vision. You may know Mile Vision at the Catalyst 137 Center.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
she's quite busy growing and the company with the senior team. And, my oldest is in grade 11. We're planning for university in Guelph now and thinking about other things and part-time jobs and getting driver's licenses and everything that any parent would have to go through at some point in their life. And we're just kind of doing it all right now and
Mm-hmm.
saying yes to as much as we can and, trying to have a little bit of downtime together as much as possible as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good for you. All right, let's loop this right back around to you. To you, it's all about you. It is all about you. Um, Looking back, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I think one of the things that has helped me in my success right now, one, the fact that this is a volunteer initiative. It's easy to, it's not easy. I don't want to take back the word easy. I, it's, it is easy to allow myself to make mistakes and not get all flustered and out of sorts because of it.
Mm-hmm.
If this was a paid gig, things would maybe look and think and feel a little bit differently. And I'm nervous about crossing that line in the sand because it is very much fun now. And
Mm-hmm.
there's, as you know, running a business, there's a lot of administrative tasks that come with running a business. That
Yeah.
being said, I like to bury myself in administrative tasks from time to time. But a lot of the things that we have started and implemented over the years, a great idea comes. Yes, it's very important to bounce those ideas off of other people to get a different perspective and
Mm-hmm.
maybe some words of advice or cautionary things to think about. But just they don't have to be 110% before you go live. Just get them going,
Mm-hmm.
and they, with the help of those that are around you, or as they come alive, they're going to change a little bit. So I think for me, what's been successful and what I would tell myself is if you have a great idea, start moving forward with it. The only person that knows that it's not 100% is yourself. And everybody else will say, if you come off professional, knowledgeable, approachable, I think those other soft skills are important to the overall sales of whatever you want to. And it may not be selling anything. It's just about doing something. If you can get community buy-in and be, approachable and empower people to feel as though they're a part of the solution, you can be successful 100% of the time. But I know that on some things you do have policies and protocols to follow. And what we've been doing with the locally connected community hub, being more community based and in the manner that it's organized, it's a little bit easier to just get it out there, and it will that last 15-20% will firm up as it kind of comes to life.
Yeah, I love that. I love the expression done is better than perfect. I like to remind myself because, of course, there is that tendency, and especially maybe when you're younger, you really want to get everything right before you launch something, before you get it out there. And I learned for myself, if I wait for that, I won't do anything. Nothing will get done. You have to start and then improve on the fly. So yeah, so I really like that reminder. So what's next? What's next for you? What's next for your community initiatives? Do you have what's next? And then I want to know if you have any like big dreams.
I don't have big dreams. I like to dream about things that are achievable and attainable.
I'm sure. And who says that the big dreams aren't achievable and attainable?
Good point.
I'm going to push back on that.
That's okay.
Says who?
That's fair. I'll tell you what. The things that are attainable and achievable, given the busy life that I lead right now.
Okay, fair.
Adding more to my plate is probably not in my best interest. However, there's lots of things happening and percolating in the back of the mind that I've been thinking about for years. That I've wanted to do, and some things I'm, slowly kicking the can at and reaching back out to people to ask for some peer reviews and share, get some ideas about some of the things that I would like to maybe try on my own. Not saying, leave my job, but just other little initiatives that for me would be considered innovative, but we'll see what happens with, some of the peer reviews and things that I may want to kind of bring to the surface. And I'd be happy to share with you some other time. But right now, just, life is busy, kids are busy, work is busy, family is busy. Let's just kind of do the best that I can with what's on my plate right now. And then start to thinking about, I'm now, like many of us, my age in my late 40s, I'm now closer to retirement than when I started outside of university. And so thinking about all the things that I may pull back from the back burner to the front burner as I get closer to retirement. And what does retirement look like? I know a lot of people who are enjoying retirement and they're busier than they were during their working years.
Sure.
So I've got a long list of things that I want to accomplish. And again, we'll pull them out as time allows.
Yeah, it sounds like you want to retire to something, not from something. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, absolutely.
Keep doing things. It's not about just going and fishing or doing just leisure the whole time. I actually have a hard time picturing you doing that. I think you just have too much going on, too much desire to help, too many ideas, too much passion bubbling in there to not be investing that into other people and making things happen. Yeah. Is there anything that we didn't touch on today that you think is worthwhile taking a couple of minutes to talk about?
One thing I did want to say that in addition to bringing people together, supporting businesses, for those that are in the group and certainly the businesses that are in our community, an important part of what we're doing is trying to find creative ways to give back to our community. And throughout the year, we partner with various groups and agencies and organizations. For example, in October, we partner with the Food Bank of Waterloo Region, and we do a food drive of non-perishable foods for the food bank, which is one great way. We've been doing that for a few years now. We also have partnered this year with the Waterloo Region, Food for Kids Waterloo Region. One of our meetups was at Schooner Street Brewery, and we brought in 10 local restaurants to offer some samples to everybody who was in attendance. And we asked those who attended to pay it forward with a little cash donation towards Food for Kids Waterloo Region, and we were able to raise $600 for them.
Great.
In previous years, we partnered with the Lincoln Heights Public School for their Lincoln Heights breakfast program for kids. We also partner with the Waterloo Knights of Columbus every December meetup for our toy drive for their needy kids toy drive, which has been fantastic. We also partnered with the Canadian Blood Services to encourage people to roll up their sleeve and make a blood donation when convenient and when it's of comfort to them. And to help kind of move the initiative forward, I rolled up my sleeve for the first time, and that was back in the fall. And I just donated my third donation on Tuesday morning, or no, actually on the weekend. So that was really fantastic. And there's other ways that that we're thinking about giving back to the community. We are trying to be mindful of not always asking people to open up their wallet to support the community, which is necessary, but we don't want that to be the case all the time. So we're fine.
Open your veins.
Yeah, go open your veins. Exactly. And something else that we launched last year that we're hoping to take it a little bit further this year is something called the Locally Connected Community Outdoor Adventures. This is a stream of the Locally Connected Community Hub where we want to bring people together. Again, when you bring people together at the school tarmac, at the grocery store, at the friend's backyard, you're still going to ask, how's life, work, and everything else in between. Yeah. So we want to find some other settings that bring people together that still encourage conversation. So if you enjoy the waters, we have a stream called Paddle Ventures. So if you have a paddle board, a canoe, a kayak, a raft, we have a group of 50 people that we reach out to and just say, hey, this Saturday, we're going to go from Victoria Street down to Freeport Hospital. You got to have your own equipment, and there's a bit of coordination involved for, the drop off and the pickup and making sure there's enough cars everywhere. But we've had a lot of success. We went out a half a dozen times last year. There's no shortage of biking trails in our community as well. So we have the paddle ventures, we have pedal ventures for those that are cycling enthusiasts, and we want to be able to do street biking, mountain biking, off-road biking, all of that. And we have, again, those great trails to take advantage of. And we're looking for volunteers that might want to lead a particular excursion and to connect with me and talk about that. And the last piece, for those of us who have furry companions, we have paw ventures. So there's some great dog parks. For us, a gated dog park is very important to let our Labradoodle off leash. Yes. And so again, when you're out, dogs are having a good time. Parents are having a good time, or pet owners are having a good time chatting, and you meet some great people as well in the process. So those are some additional settings that I would say are certainly more family oriented, and families can bring their children to all of those activities, which they've done. And so again, trying to find creative ways to engage the community in that whole inclusive mentality of bringing the community together, one relationship at a time. It takes time, but we've got a lot of people that are really supportive and are really community driven, and they really, truly want to be part of the community.
Wow. I'm glad you get close to 8 hours sleep a night, because you're just, all the things you've got going on are making me feel tired. But they're life-giving things, which makes the biggest difference. Yeah, right?
That's right.
They are life-giving, life-affirming things. And then you get energy from them. So it's not just expending.
Exactly.
Okay. So what's the best place for people to, find you, connect with you, find a locally connected community hub, find out more about all of the things that you've been sharing with us today?
Yeah, thank you. We have a dedicated website, and it's real easy to remember. And I always ask people, do you feel locally connected with your community? And people will say yes or no or in between. And then I say, I'll invite you to check us out online at locallyconnected.ca. So we have all of our information, all of our initiatives that we've done. We even became community owners of the KW Titans last year and raised $2,500 to buy 3 sets of season tickets. And we gave tickets to the local schools in our neighborhood, and everybody who participated. We just kind of randomly picked tickets for them to get involved with. So visit us online, locallyconnected.ca. You can send me an email at info@locallyconnected.ca. We also have, through one of our volunteers, an automated call tree now and our own local phone number. So you can call us
Oh, wow.
at 519 704 0866. That's 519-704-0866. And you will be asked if you want to speak to any one of our chapters by their chapter name. And you can press the right number and get directed to any of our chapter chairs.
That's fabulous.
And we are on Facebook and LinkedIn at Locally Connected Community Hub. We're on YouTube as well with a few videos and a few video testimonials. And but the big thing is come out to one of our meetups. From our website, from our Facebook group, you can access all of our chapter meetups. And we've grown to a point, primarily after the return to life from the COVID pandemic, where we had to introduce an online registration form. We were hitting fire code capacity at all of our venues.
Okay.
So
with just leaving it wide open, you don't know who's going to show up. Okay.
That's right. So it helps us certainly to build our database, but it also helps us to know who's coming from a planning perspective. Yeah. And you remember the days when you needed to have the names of everybody that came into an event because of the pandemic rules there. So not that applies anymore, knock on wood, but at least we know who's coming and we can stay in touch with them. And again, you don't have to be a business owner to come out to any one of our meetups. We're very welcoming. We're a fun, loving group of people from all different backgrounds and experiences. And the best way is to get involved. And for those of us that do business development, we kind of say, we do it the old-fashioned way, through relationship building. We're all part of these social media groups that have 20, 30, 40,000 followers supporting and encouraging shop local, buy local. But there's never a physical face behind any of these. They're all important. I think they're great. I belong to many of them as well, and I promote our meetups on many of these individual pages. But also, again, I talked at the beginning of our conversation about what differentiates us. I think the other piece is that we're not just a virtual community, but we're an in-person community as well. It's almost an in-person community first, and then using the virtual and social media channels to kind of augment and get the information out to our audience.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I will put all of those links in the show notes. If you have like a couple more minutes, I have some rapid fire questions that are just for fun.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Morning person or night owl?
Oh, inspired to be a morning person. Night, I would say, again, I don't stay up late anymore. I'm in my late 40s. It's I feel good to get in bed.
You're neither.
Daytime.
Fair,
I'm a daytime guy.
Yeah. Daytime guy. Yeah. Afternoons. Yeah. If you could teleport anywhere right now, where would you go?
Geez. Sorry, this is a fast answered question. I'm going to say probably a Caribbean resort would be nice.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yes. Sounds good. What's a book, podcast, or movie you'd recommend?
My goodness. I'm so far behind on the books that I need to read right now. My family and I, we really enjoy watching the Hunger Games.
Okay.
Series.
Yes.
If you follow that, we do enjoy the Hunger Games.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to rewatch. Yeah. What's a hidden talent or skill that you have? Maybe some people don't realize that you have.
Sure. So I started golfing when I was 5. In my last year as a junior at Dune Valley Golf Club, I had two holes in one in a week in 5 days. The first one was on a par 4, and in fact, I had a third one on the 7th day, but it went in the hole and came out and stopped by an inch. I was a junior club champion. I was on the Spalding Tour, and I had the application for the Ontario Amateurs mailed to me, but passed on the opportunity because all of my friends who were golfers, their parents' houses backed on to Galt, Westmount, all the fancy clubs. And I mean, the level of competition was just outrageous. So I just figured golf would be a part of my life. And I married into a country family that decided to establish a small golf course in Eastern Ontario during the late 90s. And now when we do family visits, I have a small executive golf course to enjoy from time to time.
Sounds amazing. That's fun. That's great. And finally, what's a motto or mantra that you live by?
I was just telling my one daughter something last night that I live by, but again, I think I'll bring it back to what I shared with you earlier. Done is better than not started. Just get it out there and get going. And again, the only thing that the only person that's going to know it wasn't perfect was yourself. So just better to get it done than not get it started at all.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Jason, for your time. I almost feel guilty taking from your taking from your busy time,
I
but
enjoyed this.
we are
Thank you.
talking about some of your initiatives, and hopefully we'll introduce it to new people and get more
Absolutely.
people out, which would be ideal.
100%. Thank you
So
again.
we'll see you soon. We'll see you at the next one in person.